Hey guys, 3XD here today, and I've got the Max G2 finally. I've actually had it for 3 or 4 weeks, and man, it's a blast. So I'm super excited to talk about it today, and I've got it actually next to the Ninebot Max here, which I'm going to be slightly comparing to along this review. So let's get into the quick specs. The Ninebot Max G2 has a 450 watt base motor, and it peaks up to 900 watts for power going up hills and stuff like that. It's really useful, and it does much better at doing hills than the Ninebot Max. This guy does hills up to 22 degrees, it says, though that may vary, of course, with weight and stuff and conditions. So let's get into directly into get a closer look at the new features of the G2. So starting out with the Max G2, we're looking at the turn signal lights, and as you can see, these are super bright here. This is absolutely daytime visible. You have no problem, no worries having people able to see you, and also you will notice very clearly when these lights are on. Of course, people in front and behind can see you very clearly. So that's a fantastic addition. Of course, on the Ninebot Max, there was no turn signal, so that's a massive upgrade right there. To turn these off, it does not automatically turn off like on my P100, for example. You have to tap it again. Same with the other side to turn those off. Okay, so that's the turn signals. Fantastic feature that Segway added into the Ninebot Max G2. The horn here, it's a sharp horn. It's very beepish, sounds like some kind of old digital watch. But that works, and that helps to get people's attention. I honestly prefer the bell on the Ninebot Max, which is more of like a bike sound, but it sounds a little bit corny. So that's the bell. Anyways, you have someone to get, you have a way to get someone's attention and keep people safe. So there's the display as well, of course, and that is not quite as bright, I would say, as the Ninebot Max for some reason. You can see it's quite a bit different of brightness there. I think maybe, I don't know if it's trying to save battery or what they're trying to do there, but it's a big difference. And then you have the acceleration lever here. It does feel like there's a little bit more pushback, like a little bit more spring action on this guy. So it seems like they are added a good amount of firmness there. Also, I would go back some and we can look at the major difference in the handlebars width. There is at least another couple inches on the handlebar width, and that adds a very good amount of stability compared to the Ninebot Max, which felt a little bit like you were squeezed in between two walls because it's just not enough space, not as much comfort holding that narrower handlebar. So there you go, the handlebar differences. Let's get down into the front of the scooter here. Here you can see quickly the hinge is definitely a little bit beefier. It's thicker, you can see, versus the Ninebot Max. And also the mechanism on the, you can see on the Ninebot Max is like a side lever, and this is like a side quick release, which I think is more sturdy and stronger. So that's great. Of course, one of the main features of the Ninebot Max G2 is the suspension. And this is a fantastic addition that a lot of people wanted, I'm sure, and also was missing on the Ninebot Max. So that was added in. This is a front mono hydraulic shock in the front, and that makes it possible to absorb all those annoying bumps on the road. Other than that, you have a pretty typical, I think the tire is probably exactly the same size. I think the 10.5 around that inches front tire, and you have the drum brake just as you did on the Max. Moving on, let's see, we have sturdy kickstand. This kickstand has not really changed. What I would say is that because of the suspension, the ride height is definitely different, and your center of gravity is noticeably higher, which I would say is kind of a bummer, but that's just something that happens along with the addition of adding the suspension in there. Moving on to the back, well, let's see, talk about the, moving on to the back of the G2. We have the dual suspension here with these two shocks, one on either side, which are very sturdy. And I would also say that these are adjustable.
which is great if you want a stiffer or a softer ride or things like that. So that's fantastic to be able to adjust it yourself just by spinning these guys. You can see it says harder and probably softer on the other side. Yeah. And then in the back, of course, we have the motor, which they're able to pump out 900 watt max power out of this thing, which is amazing. That's an amazing amount of juice to get you up hills and stuff like that in comparison to the Ninebot Max, which was definitely struggling to get up a lot of hills. So that's the gist of the differences in the hardware. You also have the traction control on the Ninebot Max, which is going to be really great for trying out sometime. I actually have not tested that yet. Another thing I would mention on the Ninebot Max G2 is, of course, you have the ride-along algorithm type technology on the controller so that it can help you to get maximum range. It is rated for up to 70 kilometers range, but of course that's probably going at 20 miles per hour or quite slow, and I usually ride it at the max speed of 35 kilometers an hour, which is about 20-ish miles per hour. So I usually go the max speed, and that definitely cuts down on the range quite a bit. So I'm definitely not getting even near 70 kilometers. I would like to do a range test, but just have not done that yet. As far as tires and punctures, luckily these are self-healing tires now. They have some kind of goop or something inside, and that's going to protect your tire. It's some kind of like gel or slime or whatnot. So if you do get a puncture, that's going to self-heal. Instead, on my Ninebot Max, I put some slime in there in the past to get those guys protected, and you won't have to do that on the Ninebot Max G2. So that's a really thoughtful addition as well. One of the last few things is the charging port is in the same location, no problems there. There is a port actually for a faster charger there. You can add in the pin charger on the right. The one it comes with is already built in, so there's no external AC adapter. So this is really nice. The charging has been kept mostly the same. I think they had a faster option. Yes, the same kind of faster option that they had on the Ninebot Max. So charging port pretty much the same, and it's the same 551 watt battery on this guy. So nothing has really changed there. They just managed to pump out more juice, which is really incredible. And we're going to be showing the result of that addition of power on the ride. So let's get to the riding portion and show you how it rolls in real time. See you guys there. Starting off on a hill, which is where the Ninebot Max always had more difficulty. So we're starting off from 0 here. We are noted that we are on maximum acceleration, etc. And I have the speed here in the US turned all the way up to 35 kilometers per hour. Let's go. Looks like there's a rabbit coming. Don't hit the rabbit. Okay, and I'm also about 90 kilograms, 190 pounds plus. So there we go. We're up to 22 kilometers an hour, about 15-ish. There we go. We're accelerated a bit. Now I'm at 25 kilometers an hour uphill, which is fantastic. And this hill is probably at least 15 to 17 degrees, I would say. So it's done really well. The Ninebot Max would not have been able to do that hill near this speed. Probably would have been at least 10 kilometers an hour slower. So that's a huge improvement, having that 900 watt peak power there. All right, let's head down the hill. Let's go at max speed to make sure my windscreen is doing an amazing job. Fully up to 35 kilometers an hour. Of course, downhill is easy. We're already at the max speed. Very quick. This scooter just feels amazing. Super light, super comfortable to ride. Compared to the P100, this thing is just honestly sometimes more fun because you're just dealing with so much less weight. Here we go, max speed. Very nippy acceleration, no problem, just takes off all the way up to 35 kilometers an hour, all the way to the top. It's fantastic.
左转，左转。去哪里？左转了。Like I said, this scooter is just a pleasure to ride. The rideability of the Ninebot Max, if anything, has just been enhanced. And oh my god, I didn't plug in my mic. Oops, shit. 右转. Mic is plugged in. I actually didn't have it plugged in over the first bump. Now that's what the Ninebot Max G2 really excels at, is the bumps. And you really don't feel like it's a chore. It's a pleasure now. It's just like a little sailing over waves in the ocean. It's fantastic. It's just so comfortable. All right, well, that was a normal speed bump. It just feels almost enjoyable to go over, like I said. It's just almost enjoyable. I would say it is. All right, going straight along this straight, hitting some more bumps. Woo! If you go over those at full speed, you're definitely gonna sometimes bottom out the suspension. Woo! Fantastic. It's just a fantastic ride. Very comfortable. No issues with the, it's light. It's lightweight. It's very nimble. It's easy to turn. It just makes it so enjoyable. Trying to get a street view here. Unfortunately, it seems like you can't see the scooter as well. Trying to get the speed as well. That's the angle I want. I'm going to continue straight here. There's another bump. No problems. Okay, so up here, we're able to use the turn signal. Super bright, front and back. Like I said, people oncoming will have no problem seeing you. They don't generally look for scooters that well. But such as it is, turn signals are great, fantastic. No problem. You can see this is a bit of a hill here. No problem going up. I'm at 32 kilometers an hour on that slight incline. No issues. It just breezes up the hill. 看这，看垃圾呢，垃圾了，快点。Okay, we're going. I love the acceleration at max. It's great. Definitely eats up the battery faster. Like I mentioned before, I'm going to do a range test when I can, but I'm definitely not getting anywhere near 70 kilometers, maybe like 40, 50. So by turning down the acceleration, by turning down the acceleration, it definitely the range. Woo, downhill. Okay, and we're going left here. Okay, and down these little narrow streets, of course, the G2 has no problem. This is actually not that narrow, but you can literally lane split with this thing. I don't recommend that, but in a slow traffic situation, you could definitely squeeze between cars easily. And of course, use your scooter as a shopping tool. I go to Trader Joe's all the time with mine, and it is a blast. I literally just put the cart right on there, and then I walk the scooter, of course turned off to be respectful, turned off through Trader Joe's, and it's fantastic. Okay, continuing on. I'm trying to get a good angle here for you guys. I can keep this up a bit. There we go. A bit of the horizon. Downhill, it just takes off so well. No problems. Can't really test the traction control here, but that's something I would like to put to the test. That's a new feature that they've added on here. I'm going to find a section with some dirt to test as well. near lovely Green Lake here in Seattle, which I usually ride to because it's such a fantastic place to ride next to the water, of course. Straight, 自走。快点，快点，有一个 bus。All right, here we are at Green Lake now, actually, and I found some dirt patch, a little bit of dirt patch. It's not actually, I don't have the cruise control on, but it actually doesn't even need it here. But I just want to give you an idea of how it feels. The shocks are the main thing here. They just soak up bumps so well. No worries. Okay, now what I'm actually going to show for comparison is the when I turn the acceleration down to normal, it actually doesn't do that much slower acceleration. It's actually quite good still. We can see we have a normal max speed, 35 kilometers an hour. And let's go ahead and show the cruise control next. Of course, you have to have cruise mode enabled here in the settings. I have energy recovery on weak right now because I want to be blasting along. But usually I would have it on medium, recommended medium. Cruise control on, 25 kilometers an hour. On the other side of Green Lake, I'm having some problems with my SD card, unfortunately, on my DJI Action. It's giving me some slow recording speed errors, which I haven't seen before. It's annoying. Hey, this is the end of the 3XT's Ninebot G2 Max review. Hope you enjoyed it, got some useful insight, and to answer the question whether this is a worthy successor to the Ninebot Max, absolutely yes it is. Fantastic scooter. Find it on sale, get it for hopefully $7.99 or $8.99. I know Best Buy and other retailers have it, at least here in the US. My SD card was certainly dying yesterday. That was really frustrating. I finally found out after some testing it was, yeah, it was just on its way out, so I had to replace that. Anyways, that pretty much wraps it up. Before we conclude, I'm going to walk you through what I do to make sure that you're using the maximum, getting the max speed out of it. So you go into more functions, as I just tapped on there, then you go down to, well, you make sure sport mode of course is selected right here. Go to custom settings of sport mode and you see we have the max speed selected, 35 kilometers per hour, and which I'll put the miles per hour equivalent of that. Of course, if you have a different version of the Ninebot Max G2, it will vary per country. And there you go, you see the acceleration settings right here. Make sure that's on max speed. So I actually didn't notice too much difference between normal acceleration and max speed acceleration. For normal acceleration, you will get a little bit better range. I don't think it's super significant. It more depends on your weight, of course. But yeah, that's about it. So hope you guys enjoyed the review. See you guys next time. Leave some comments below. Please subscribe, it helps my channel. See you guys in the next one.